Hello everybody, in this video we'll be looking into non-banking financial companies. Now what exactly is this non-banking financial company? Now as the term suggests, these are companies. Now these companies are being registered under the Companies Act of 1956 and NBFCs are mainly involved in the business like giving loans and advances, acquisition of the shares, stocks, debentures, bonds or securities that are issued by the government or any other local authority or the securities of similar nature, and along with it they also include the entities whose business is in regard to the insurance or the chit business, leasing, etc. Now you can say that NBFCs, their principal business will be financial activity. So you can remember that these do not include the institutions or entities whose principal business is mainly that of agricultural activity, industrial activity, or in regard to sale and purchase of the goods other than securities, and also in regard to the sale and purchase or construction of any immovable property. So for example, you can say that NBFCs are mainly included in financing of the various physical assets that support the economic activity. Or you can say that NBFCs also include entities that give gold loans, or you can say that they also provide the loans to the small individuals to start a small business, and it also includes the entities which provide the insurance services. So you can say that NBFCs, their principal activity will be financial activity. So if you cite any examples of the top leading NBFCs in India, you can cite or you can say that you have the Reliance Capital Limited, you have the Sundaram Finance, you have the L&T Financial Holding Limited, you have the LIC Housing Limited, Housing Finance Limited, and also other like Bajaj Finance, etc. are all leading NBFCs in India. Now when you come to regarding the regulations of the NBFCs, you can say that NBFCs are generally regulated by RBI, but you can also say that all NBFCs are not regulated by RBI, because when it comes to the NBFCs that mainly deal with the insurance activity, they are mainly regulated by the insurance regulator, which is Insurance Regulatory and Development Authority, and those NBFCs which are mainly included as stock companies or those that deal with the shares, they are being regulated by the SEBI, which is a capital market regulator. So when it comes to the Housing Finance Limited, which are the entities that mainly deal with the housing finance, they will be regulated by the national housing banks. So you can say that in regard to the regulatory body, not all NBFCs are being regulated by RBI. So when you look into the activities of both the NBFCs as well as banks, you can say that they are more or less the same because they mainly deal with the financial activity. But then there are differences between NBFCs as well as banks. The first difference is that NBFCs cannot accept demand deposits. Now what is this demand deposits? Those deposits which have to be given by the financial institution once demanded by the customers. So in case of NBFCs, they cannot accept such deposits. So that means that they can accept only term deposits, which are the deposits that are kept for a fixed term. So NBFCs cannot accept demand deposits. Second difference is that NBFCs do not form a part of the payment as well as settlement system, which means that they cannot issue checks that are drawn on itself. That is, the NBFCs cannot issue checks. So that is a difference between the NBFC as well as the banks. Now third difference is that there is something called as a deposit insurance facility that is given by the Deposit Insurance Credit Guarantee Corporation. Now what is this deposit insurance facility? When you go to the banks, you deposit some amount, those amount will be insured by this corporation. But in case of the NBFCs, the deposits that are being kept by the depositors or the customers will not be insured by this corporation. That is, the deposit insurance facility will not be available to the depositors of the NBFCs. So these are the three main differences between the banks as well as the NBFCs. That is, the first is in regard to the demand deposit, second is in regard to the issuing of the checks, third is in regard to the deposit insurance facility. Now given this basic knowledge, we'll just go through the UPSC question that was asked in 2010. The question goes as, with reference to the non-banking financial companies, that is NBFCs, consider the following statement. They cannot engage in acquisition of the securities that are issued by the government, that's the first statement. Second statement is they cannot accept the demand deposits like the savings account. Which of the statements that are given above is or are correct? First option 1 only, second option 2 only, third option both 1 and 2. D is neither 1 nor 2. So as I've already mentioned in the first statement, in the first itself, that the NBFCs can get involved in the acquisition of the shares, that especially those which are that are being issued by the government. So which means that the opposite is given in the first statement. So the first statement is wrong. So the second statement is that they cannot accept the demand deposits, which is a correct statement. So your answer becomes B, that is they cannot accept the demand deposits, that is 2 only. So these are the main things in regard to the NBFCs. That's it.